What's going on, everyone? So the Lakers have not stopped. They have just signed Gabe Vincent on top of Taurean Prince. They gave Gabe Vincent 3 years, $33 million, so $11 million a year. Curious to see how the deal is structured, because if it's like 11 or 12 million up front this year, well, then that would mean that there is the mid-level exception. Did the Lakers go and sign him for the full mid-level exception, or are they going to work out some, finagling? Also, what does this mean for D'Angelo Russell? Is Gabe Vincent going to be our backup point guard? Are they planning on losing D'Angelo Russell? Or are they going to bring Gabe Vincent off the bench? I'm curious to see how this goes. That's a real question mark. But diving into Gabe Vincent, we'll see what happens with everything else. 27 years old, had a great year for Miami. You knew he was going to get paid. 6'2" size, so he is a smaller type of point guard, but just absolute quality, right? And I think for $11 million a year, I thought that was his market. I think the Lakers got him for fair value, especially at the price that we're seeing some of these role guys go for. It's ridiculous. Some of these role guys are going for insane amount of money. But this year for the Miami Heat, he played in 68 games, so he's a guy that can absolutely play and stay on the court. Played about 26 minutes per game, and he is a guy that can do multiple things, right? Get to the basket, he can shoot the three ball, he can defend, he's hard-nosed, gritty, will get after it. So I like this pickup, I like this acquisition of getting Gabe Vincent. Gives us another guy that can be a shooting threat, another guy that can just do multiple things on the court, be another playmaker, whether D'Lo or Reeves or whomever, whatever our starting or bench guard rotation turns out being. Gabe Vincent is a guy that can come in and kind of do and alleviate that stress. Also take the pressure off of LeBron James. That's helpful as well. And still follows that youth, right? 27 years old. 200 pounds. He's got good size, good strength, can get to the basket, can finish, can operate in that mid-range. This is a guy that can be a legit 3-level scorer. Again, he's not a guy that is going to completely take over games down the stretch or anything like that, but he did pick it up in the postseason. So during the regular season this year, he scored 9.5 points, almost 10 points per game. In the postseason, he bumped that up to almost 13 points per game at 38% from three, which, again, that's what you want to see, right? You want a guy that's not afraid of the moment. You want a guy that is willing to step up, make big plays, will do the dirty work. That's what this guy is. And that's why I like the Taurean Prince signing as well. The Lakers got two guys that can give you consistency on both sides of the basketball. They can defend. They're hard-nosed. They're going to get after it. They're Darvin Ham type players, right? They're guys that will do the dirty work and do the hustle plays. And that's what the Lakers need. The Lakers need a couple guys that will dive after it, that aren't afraid to get hit, that aren't afraid of the moment, right? These are guys that can do that. Gabe Vincent was phenomenal for the Miami Heat over the course, especially the playoffs. He really was big for them on their playoff run. And I'm glad that the Lakers didn't heavily overpay for him, right? That was the concern, is the Lakers, because I talked about Gabe Vincent before. There were reports and rumors that the Lakers were targeting Gabe Vincent a month ago, or maybe a little less. The video's here on this channel, like I said, but he was a guy that I talked about that I just don't want to see him get overpaid. I don't mind if we bring him in at a reasonable price. I think it depends on how the deal is structured. That's how it's going to boil down for me personally. Because again, 3 years, $33 million. Do they maybe kind of front load his contract this year? Do they go and they backload it, right? To where they can, so for example, let's say they go and they give Gabe Vincent, say, $6 million this year or something like that, right? So now they have another $6 million to go get another piece or another player. That could be something that's interesting as well. Also, if they end up maybe they know they're losing D'Lo, right? And it's well, who else can we get? Okay, let's get this guy. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see exactly how this plays out. But it does kind of feel like this is probably going to be the full mid-level exception, which is a bit surprising because I thought the Lakers would wait a little bit on the full mid-level exception. But look, I'm not going to complain about Gabe Vincent. I think Gabe Vincent is a solid addition. I think he's a guy that can absolutely help. I think this means that we're done with Dennis Schroeder, that Dennis Schroeder is probably going elsewhere. right? Because my guess is that they sign Reeves, they sign Rui, they bring back D'Lo, and then they have Gabe Vincent as like the backup point guard, and he's the guy that's kind of running and facilitating the second unit. And then he can also play alongside D'Lo, because D'Lo's bit was really good off the ball for the Lakers. He's a guy that can stretch the floor, so you can play him at the 2, especially with his height and his size at 6'5". So you got Gabe Vincent 6'3", you got D'Lo 6'5", Austin Reeves 6'5", so you can kind of run those 3 guards into rotation. And Gabe Vincent kind of gives you what Dennis Schroeder can give you on the defensive end, right? He's a guy that can provide that secondary playmaking, that hustle, that grit, guy that'll dive after the ball, guy that will play defense and can be a point of attack guard. All of those things are, I think, very important for the Lakers, right? Those are the kind of guys that they need. The Lakers were the best defensive team in the league pre or post the trade, right? Once they got through the trade deadline, the Lakers were it. They were as far as it went defensively. They were the plateau, or the top of the top, right? Gabe Vincent comes in with a defensive rating of 113.3, so he's an above average defender. Guy, again, that hard nose, that should add to that. You're seeing the Lakers get two-way guys that can play defense, guys that can shoot the ball, guys that can make plays, guys that can do and just do multiple things, and that's what the Lakers need. I personally really like this pickup. I think that, would I have liked, maybe a little sexier pickup and deal? Sure. But I do think Gabe Vincent is going to go a long way. I really like the idea of Gabe Vincent coming in, kind of stabilizing our backcourt. We'll see. I don't know. I have this feeling that something's going to happen with D'Lo, right? Granted, you're only paying him $11 million a year, so you could bring him off the bench, but is that what he would have wanted, right? Like, because that's the real question. Like, did he come to the Lakers to be the backup? Honestly, is that what ended up happening? I don't know. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see how this plays out, because now with Gabe Vincent, do they let D'Lo go? I feel like this is D'Lo insurance. Let's put it like that. That's probably a better way to phrase it, right? If they can re-sign D'Lo for a reasonable price, boom, there you go. There's D'Lo at a reasonable price, and then they'll figure it out with D'Lo and Vincent. If they can't, and he only wants $30 million a year, something crazy like that, then I think they just say, hey, good luck to you. Go, if you can go get paid, go get paid. We're just going to run it with Vincent, and you lose. Look, D'Lo is a better player. I know some people are going to disagree with that just because of the way he performed in the playoffs, but he still was overall better in the playoffs than Gabe Vincent was. I think Gabe Vincent in that backup point guard role behind D'Lo is chef kiss. I think he is perfect. But as a starter, I think losing D'Lo would hurt. But him as our backup, him as because he's going to play a lot. Because again, he could play next to Reeves. He could play next to D'Lo. So that flexibility, I think, is huge. But we'll see. See how it plays out. Anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? What do you think of the Gabe Vincent signing? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you think that this spells the end for D'Lo? According to Jovan Buha, they still want to keep D'Lo. That's the priority. Their main priorities. Here, this is exactly what Jovan said. I'm hearing the Lakers still have interest in re-signing D'Angelo Russell, who has been their third priority behind retaining Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura. The Lakers signing Gabe Vincent likely signals Dennis Schroeder won't be back in Los Angeles. See, there you go. So that helped. So this is clearly the Dennis Schroeder replacement. This is a guy that they believe in long term, that has better upside. I think he'll be more consistent than Schroeder, right? I really do. I think he will be a lot more consistent than Dennis Schroeder. Dennis Schroeder had his moments, right? Dennis Schroeder had his moments of brilliance, and it was great. And then he had just really bad moments. And that is something that I think is probably the deciding factor. Like, Dennis Schroeder disappeared a lot. He had just really solid, the Minnesota game, right? he was massive for the Lakers in that Minnesota game. But like throughout the course of the playoffs, he was just, it felt like more times he was a liability than not. I mean, how many times was it a tight game and Dennis Schroeder would have like back-to-back turnovers or something like that? I think Gabe Vincent will be a slight upgrade, right? Guy that can come in, give you some shooting, give you some playmaking, a guy that actually elevated in the playoffs rather than regressed. I liked it. I do. But do you feel the same way? Again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, love to hear it. Let me know.